Hello everyone. Good morning, good afternoon or good evening. And we are going to take the fly-by-wire A320 out for the spin today. We're going to be flying from Edinburgh. We're going to be taking the KLM livery home to Schiphol, which is the hub for KLM. A beautiful livery, by the way, in my view. A beautiful blue. Really like it, really like the styling. So I've labelled this video stroke stream as I'm learning to fly with the fly-by-wire A320. Now, although I can set the aircraft up and get a flight plan arranged and into the FMS, and I can do all the performance, and I can take off, I can hold my own to a level in the air and just grasping the manual landing. I've veered away from auto landing now, and I am starting to disengage the autopilot, sort of, I don't know, saying 3 to 5 miles outside of the airport, outside the runway. But I really am still learning to fly. There is so much to learn in not only this aircraft, but also just for general aviation, and also air law, and how to properly understand charts, and how to properly understand RNAV, VORs, IFRs, all the acronyms. So I thought the title of the video stream was quite applicable, really, because I am learning to fly. There are things that I don't know, and there are things, a few things that I do know. But the whole purpose for me to sort of share this with you is so we can learn together. Hopefully you guys can sort of help out through the comments. If you see any opportunity for any improvement, or if you see anything that I've done that is not quite right, or you think that I could have done something a little bit better, I'll absolutely love to learn. So feel free to sort of drop your views in the comments. So looking forward to, I always like this flight. I look forward to this flight. I've done this flight a few times. I think it's a great flight. Let's just take a quick look at the flight plan. So here we are. Let me try and zoom in Edinburgh. We're going to be taking off to the sort of southwest. Then obviously going south to southeast. We've got a huge patch of weather to get through, but I'm not really clear at the moment on what sort of altitude this weather is, but hopefully we should be near to sort of top of descent, which is, our cruise today is 35,000 feet. We've got a flight time of just over an hour and 9 minutes. So I imagine with flight setup and taxi and landing, that'll just be over just an hour and a half, I reckon. We've got a takeoff weight of 67,592 kilograms and a zero fuel weight of 61,724. We do have a SID to help us depart Edinburgh, and we also have a star to help us on our arrival and approach into Schiphol. I've got multiplayer turned off in Microsoft Flight Simulator. I've found that it just causes me no end of problems. I've also taken live time off, as I kind of still want to do a little bit of daylight flying, really. I'm comfortable to do night flights, but but I do prefer to do some day flights, and I've also set the weather to in fact I think the weather may be live. Let me just check. Where is it? Not there. Is it up here? No, not controls. I think weather will be actually in here. Let's jump into the plane and I'll have a quick check of the weather. There we go, couldn't see. Here's weather. Yeah, live weather. So we've got live weather turned on, and I've set morning time flight for a morning flight. So, excuse me. Just before we start turning this on, I just want to get some charts on the go, which I have got Navigraph already open. So we'll get our charts, we'll just do a last quick review of the flight to make sure we're happy, and then we'll start turning the aircraft on. So if we open, get some ground charts for Edinburgh. Let's pin that. Here we go, pin. Don't really need parking stands. Here's our SID. So we do have a few restrictions, so we have to be higher than 4,500, but no higher than 6,000. Then we go up, no lower than 5,500, but no higher than 6,000. And then we carry on departing out, so that's sort of like the end of the SID. Speeds 250 knots below flight level 100, so pretty much standard. Transition altitude is 6,000. So a fairly straightforward departure out of Edinburgh. And if we go over to our star, so we're coming to top up at flight level 250, no higher than that, for jet only, which includes us. And then we come into Rob V. Obviously we don't enter the whole pattern, but we are using this waypoint as a lead onto the final approach. So we are on runway 27. So let's have a look at the approaches that we've got to choose from. Alright, let's runway 27. And it's a Sorgol. So I'm going to select that just to help me. I don't think we'll actually do an auto landing. I will do a manual landing, but I will use the ILS just to help me a wee bit. Let me just try seeing what a ILS to final is. Ah, right, okay. Yeah, that doesn't seem as smooth in the Navigraph app. Let's have a look. So let's try and see if we can program that approach into the FMS. But I'm fairly happy with that. Let's pin this chart here for the approach. So we're going to be coming in, veering left, right turn, and a final right turn at Tidvo or Tidvo onto final. So I think that looks good. And we've got to be at flight level 2000 and a maximum of 220 knots. We do have PAPI lights, and they're going to be on the left hand side of the runway as we approach it. And I've got our minimums at the bottom of the chart there, which we can plug in. Looks good. Let's go to Schiphol. Let's grab an airport chart. Big, busy airport. Very, very big, busy airport. So, 27. We're in here. Runway is 3,453 meters long, so plenty of length. Elevation is 12 at a heading of 266 degrees, but elevation 12 on the right, elevation 12 on the left tells me there's no slope, but doesn't tell you if there's a slope in the centre of the runway or a dip in the centre of the runway, but we just have to assume that's flat. Let's pin that as well, because we're going to need that. And then we'll probably exit the runway at November 3, and we'll just try and find an empty gate around here somewhere. We'll try and pull some parking stands up. So we're going to come November 3, and we'll try and go in either F2 to F4 or F6. One of these. The F pier. I'll pin that as well. Okay, cool. So I think we've got all of our charts in order. I'm fairly happy with the flight. Just want to make sure we can get the approach correct in the FMS on the aircraft. We'll give it a go. So let's jump in and let's get it all fired up. So what we need to do first of all is get the batteries on. Battery 1, battery 2. I'll try and turn the music down a little bit and the aircraft sounds up a bit more. So the battery's on, ground power's available. Let's turn that on. And as they take a bit of time, let's get the navs aligned. The IR's aligned, sorry, into nav mode. Let me just grab my controller for the camera. And this is Edinburgh. There's no, I don't have any sort of like freeware or payware scenery. This is as per default. That comes with the base package for Microsoft Flight Simulator. Let's just see if I can just turn the speed of the camera up a wee bit. We'll do, yeah, about there. Okay, that's a bit better. 737 next to us. That is AI aircraft though, as I mentioned before, I do have multiplayer turned off. Yeah, nice looking airport for standard scenery, isn't it, really? Love the little coastline in the distance. Great woodlands, great trees that have loaded into the sim. Yeah, it's looking really good. I think my FPS is around about, I don't know, between 45 and 50 at the moment. But saying that, I don't have any heavy scenery loaded in, do I? So we can probably expect a little bit of a better frame rate. So we are taking off from runway 24, which is this way. When we look at that ground, there's runway 24. So we are over there, the KLM livery. So we'll back out and push back with the tail this way and the nose this way, and we'll follow this taxi line down, all the way down, which on the chart is just classed as alpha. So if I just pull the chart up here for you to see. So as we say, we'll back out with the tail this way, the nose that way. Excuse me. And then we'll taxi on out of Echo onto Alpha, and then we'll travel down towards runway 24, and we'll hold short of Delta 1. Holy moly, look at the length of that jetway. Jeez. I'd be really interested to see if that's actually at the... I've never flown out or flown into Edinburgh in real life. It'll be interesting to see if that's actually accurate. That's a monster, isn't it? Wow. And here we are. So, should we get some service on the go? So let's get back into the aircraft. I'm not going to select it from the ground services from the fly pad. I'm going to do it from the software itself, because I did find I did have a few issues with selecting ground services from the fly pad. Excuse me. Sometimes the fuel truck wouldn't come, or the catering truck would, the rear door would open, but the catering truck wouldn't actually approach. So I'm just going to try to see if it works this way. So let's call a fuel truck, ground power, catering, baggage and jetway. Yep, everyone seems to be coming in. Jetway's loading up beautifully. Tow truck's there, ready to go. And last time the animation of the baggage wasn't working. Let's see if it works now. There we go. So the animation of the baggage is working. Very good. I think that is worthy of a screenshot. Very good. It's quite a nice screenshot there as well, isn't it? Let's get one there. I think taking screenshots in flight simulation is absolutely brilliant. I do know there's a few Discord servers and forums where you can sort of publish your screenshots that all go and contribute to people downloading them for desktop images and this, that and the other. So very nice, very good. I wonder if we can try and get a view as if we were inside the airport, even though there's nothing modelled in here. If we're looking out the window at our aircraft, what would you say? About there? Yeah, I reckon about that. That's a good screenshot. Awesome. That's another good one, isn't it? Right, I'm going to stop taking screenshots. I'm addicted to it. Let's get in. Okay, so where did we get to? So batteries are on. IR systems are lining. Let's get the cabin crew on. Turn the nav lights on to let people know we're actually in the aircraft. We can put the... Let's get it right here. No smoking, goes to auto. Seatbelt sights can come on. Turn a little bit of lighting up. The fuel pumps, but we'll leave those off for now. We'll turn those on in a wee mo. And everything looks okay there. So for emergency exit lighting can go to armed. That looks good. We have our tests for fire. Engine 1, good. APU, good. Engine 2, good. Obviously I'm not following any type of checklist, I'm just going through memory items at the moment from what I've learned for cold and dark startups on this aircraft. Okay, so I reckon we can get the sim brief download on the flight pad. There's our flight. Let's go for, I'm gonna get rid of you a sec. Go for fuel. And then what we can do here, you can enter your fuel manually, or you can just click the little cloud button here and it'll put it from SimBrief. Real time, I need 3 minutes to load 5.8, 5.9 tons of fuel. So let's click load, aircraft's loading, and you'll see these levels here start to rise in the left inner tank and the right inner tank. So while that's doing, let's go over into the McDo. Atsu AOC menu. We need to do a Init Request. I can't remember if I set a flight number in SimBrief, but let's check. Let's go and request the data. I did. JB454. So I did remember. Let's do weight and balance. Send the request for the weight and balance. 172 passengers and 4.1 of cargo. Let's start boarding everything. Right, so now that's the passengers coming on board. I think I've got it set to fast in the fly pad. If you ever want to change it, you just go to this little cogwheel, go to realism, and it's here, boarding time. You can go instant, fast, or real. I'll just click fast. Real does take absolutely forever, just like in real life, but it does take a very long time. Let's just keep an eye on our fuel loading. The fuel we can also confirm is the aircraft is refueling, because we've got the refueling icon here as well on the eCam. So let's go back to the McDo. Let's go to the initial page. Pull the data down from SimBrief. Uplink completed, I think that's it. So that means the flight plan should be in. But just before we do that, we'll go and get our zero fuel weight and our zero fuel weight centre of gravity, which there is a mismatch here in the flight briefing. Let me put it up. The flight briefing, my zero fuel weight should be 61,724, but this has my zero fuel weight as 53,000 kilograms. Don't know why. which means that the fuel that we're bringing on board will bring my takeoff weight lower than what SimBrief is saying. But I still haven't figured that one out yet, but why there is a difference. So we'll leave that one for another day. We'll come back to this figure because I think as the passengers load, I believe obviously the centre of gravity is shifting in the aircraft, so I think this number changes as we get through. Block fuel planning. Does this put it down? 3.8. No, that's not correct. It's 5.8, isn't it? 5.8. I'm going to put that in there. I don't think I can change the zero fuel weight without changing the centre of gravity. Oops, I'm sorry, you can't really see what I'm doing here, can you? There we go. So here, so zero fuel weight here, and the centre of gravity. So the centre of gravity is now 27.9, and it obviously changed when I put the flight, the flight briefing block fuel in. But I want to change this figure to match that in my briefing. But I believe...
Ladies and gentlemen from the flight deck, on behalf of myself, your captain, the first officer,
we'll listen to the message.
Crew, I'd like to take this time to welcome you aboard our flight. We're just wrapping up some paperwork up front here and waiting to receive final numbers from the ground crew, then we'll be on our way. Flight attendants will be coming through the cabin shortly with a very important safety briefing. We do ask that you give them your full, undivided attention as they review the safety operations of this Airbus aircraft. We do appreciate your business having you aboard this flight. If there's anything we do to make your flight any more enjoyable, please don't hesitate to ask. Welcome aboard.
There you go. Always important to listen to the briefing from the captain. Yeah, so I can't find in the briefing for centre of gravity. One assumes that you rely on the FMS for that to be calculated, I think. Here's my zero fuel weight. Which we said is 61.7. If I just click weight, so it should take me there. Yep, 61.7 estimated. 5.9 of put that in here. Oops. Of block fuel, not 5.8, which also changes the centre of gravity. Excuse me. But yeah, no, I still can't find where centre of gravity is. There's probably people watching this video going and telling me where it is, screaming at the device telling me where it is. But my sincere apologies, I can't find it. Cost index 5, ground distance, air distance, winds, takeoff weight, zero fuel weight, landing weight. No, I can't find it. What I will do though is I'll make sure I know where it is in the flight briefing for next time. It's all about learning, isn't it? Right, we're not going to waste time on that. I shall see if I can change this to, what did we say, 60... 1.7. So if I do 61.7 and press that, will that... Oh, it does. It does take it. I thought I had to do 61.7 slash the calculation of the centre of gravity, which I thought came from the flight plan, or sorry, not the flight plan, the flight briefing. However, it's quite clear that this is the calculation. Excuse me. And perhaps we do rely on the FMS to calculate the centre of gravity based on the zero fuel weight and block fuel. So now my takeoff weight should be, it says 67.4, and I've got in the briefing 67.5. That is close enough for me. I am happy with that. So I'm going to leave that alone and not mess with it. Right, let's carry on getting the aircraft brought to life. Let's just put you away so you can see a little bit more of the screen real estate. So that's the fuel predictions all in. Let's go to the flight plan now and start plugging in our departure, and we might as well do our arrival as well. It's only just over an hour's flight. So if we go here, go to departure, let me just pull up the flight plan on my second screen. So we're doing runway 24, and we are doing the TLA 6C. There it is there, TLA 6C. Let's select that, give that a moment to load in. And we're not transitioning, or we don't have a transition, so I'm just going to insert that into the flight plan. Then we will go to our approach and arrival. We said we're going to do, what was it, 27? Let me just check. Yeah, runway 27, we're going to do an ILS. But we did say we're going to do the Schiphol approach. So let me see if I can see that in here. So ILS 27. There's ILS 27. There's no more. I think everything else is just localizer and RNAVs. Yeah, okay. So let's go back to ILS 27. ILS 27. Here we go. So the star we're doing is Topper 2A. Let's keep scrolling through the list until we find Topper 2A. There it is, Topper 2A, confirmed. So let's put that in there. Here we go, Vyas. So the Schiphol is the Vyas. So let's hit Schiphol. Marvellous. And transition, there is none. So let's, I think we just insert that. Let me just try clicking transition. Right, okay, super. So I think what this means, we have the approach in, we have our Vyas that is in the flight plan where we saw. Let me just bring that up here. So we've got runway ILS 27, Schiphol. And we're doing a star approach of Topper 2A. And these dotted lines I think mean that it can have no data input and it'll accept it. But if it's got the squares, then it means it's not moving anywhere unless there's data in there. So let's insert that into the flight plan. And we can do a check now. So we can check, let's put our constraints on. Let's flick this over to plan. Let's just come out a little bit more, 20 nautical miles. Let's just pop this out to a main window so I can make it a little bit easier to read. Here we go. So let's start moving through. So we're going to take off runway 24. Then we're going to go for a left turn. We do have the constraints in the plan. So I believe, and we'll test this, I believe if I set the altitude to the cruise altitude of 30, what did you say, 35,000 feet was it? Let me just check one moment. Top of the plan, isn't it? Gives me a summary. 35,000 feet cruise. I think it should hold us. I think it should meet this this constraint. So I think it should increase its climb to ensure we are above 4,500 here, we did have on the charts that we could be no more than 6,000, so I'll monitor this just to learn from it a little bit, I think. And then we carry on departing out on the departure. Oh, so see, we've got a gap here. So I did learn that's all due to this thing here called flight plan discontinuity. So if we hit the clear button and click on that line item, that should make it disappear. So let's click on it. Yep, makes it disappear, joins the two and puts a lovely left turn onto this waypoint, which I think is Haven. So let's keep flicking through Haven. That's it. It's looking good so far. Yeah, then do right hand turn. Start to come into Topper. Mono, Rob V, and we need to be at 250 knots. And then we come on to Sugol, which is the Vias. So we have to be below flight level 10, 10,000 feet, but we have to be above flight level 70 at 250 knots. Then do a little bit of a flyby past the airport, just north of the runway. Left hand turn. Then we just have a series of right hand turns until we come on to final. So what we'll do in the air, once we see where the top of descent is, I may do a managed descent down to here and let the aircraft descend itself, opposed to us calculating a top of the descent. We can do that as well, just as a bit of a backup. And I'll put in there a calculation to come down at like a steady rate of 1,200 feet per minute. And then we've got to be at flight level, at 2,000 feet, and then that should then pick us up. The glide slope should then pick us up. But at this sort of point, I'll plan to sort of manually land it, see how we get on. Cool. So I'm really happy with the flight plan. Really happy. The flight plan looks good. So the next activity to look at on the here is going to be performance. So here's where we need to do our performance. So let me get up my performance calculator. Let me just pop this on my second screen. I will pull that up. Performance calculator. So we are in A320, and for this particular calculator you've got to use this one, the 251N. Our gross weight, what did we say? I should remember it, but I never do. We said it was takeoff weight 67592. 67592. Our centre of gravity, I'll get that off here. Whoops, daisy. Ooh, what's going on with the camera? There we go. So we go back to the initial page, page 2. Centre of gravity is 24.9. 24.9. Configuration, flaps 1 for takeoff. I'm good with that. A-OK. Anti-ice, no, we don't want that. Air conditioning, no, I'll turn the packs off. Airport, we are in Edinburgh, and the code is EGPH. EGPH. Get the meters. Beautiful. Pulls in the weather for us. Saves so much time, and I'm really happy the developer of this little calculation added that. It is a dry runway, and we'll leave it dry. Airport elevation, it says here 95. We can check that. If we go to our airport chart, it says here 100. So I'm happy at that. 95, a 5 foot difference, I'm okay with it. It's close enough. We do need the runway length though. And I think the other piece of information we need is the heading as well. So it is 2558 meters, and the heading is 241. So 2558 241. 2558. What did I say? 241 was it? Yeah, 241. Awesome. Let's just double check that. 241 degrees, 241 degrees. Put on my 24. Right, let's hit calculate. So we are doing, if I go over here, let me move the camera a little bit to the right so you guys can see as well. Go to performance. So we're going to do we've got V1 at 135 knots. We're going to rotate at 137 knots, and we've got V2 at 150 knots. Flaps, we said we're going to do a flaps 1. Stroke trim is up by 0.8. Up by 0.8. Let's plug that in. And we need to make sure we do trim as soon as we turn all the hydraulics on. You may be able to do this without the hydraulics off, where you sort of click flight controls here, and at the moment the pitch trim is down 0.6, but we want up 0.8. So I don't think that'll work effectively without the hydraulics on, obviously, because it needs the hydraulics to move the paddles. However, you may be able to pre-program it with the hydraulics off, and I don't know. So I'm just going to play it safe. So I must make a note to make sure we check our trim before we set off. Don't let me forget. Okay, and we've got a flex temperature takeoff today, so we're going to flex to 21 degrees, which is all about fuel efficiency for the engine. So you're not pounding the engines to 100% to take off. Transition altitude is 6,000. I remember seeing that on the chart. That's confirmed. So performance is all set. So let's get rid of that. So IRs are aligned, plans are live, planes are live, PFDs are live, flypad, we're all fueled. Let's just set our cruise altitude, and we said 35,000. 35,000. So the little dot to the side that I learned, that's a managed climb, managed heading, and managed speed. You can sort of pull that out and the little dot disappears. That means I'm now in full control of the speed selecting when you select auto throttle, so then obviously I can just adjust this to suit. But for our departure, I'll have it managed. Okay, it's all looking good. We'll leave it on the flight controls page to help jog our memory. Flaps for some reason all the way out. I don't want that. They need to be all the way in. We'll put a little bit of light in here. We'll just adjust these lights ever so slightly. Not too much, because obviously I know we're in the daylight. But it does help sometimes when you're transitioning between lighting. Parking brake is set. I'm not doing any ATC today. Need to do a lot more work to get improve my skills at ATC, especially surrounding my phraseology. Still watching quite a lot of content to help me learn. We can turn predicted wind shear on, auto, and I reckon we are about time. We can pull that out. We'll leave it squawk at 7,000 and turn those on. Leave that off. Right, I think we're ready to go. So let us start getting rid of some of the ground services. So we need to get rid of catering, baggage, and fuel can go and jetway can go. Okay, there's a going. Is our baggage guy going? Yep, he's pulling out. We won't disconnect the ground power until we've got the APU started. I love the animation on this door. It's awesome. Watch this. You see how it sort of bounces on its hydraulic cylinders? Excuse me. I think that's really, really good. Adds to the immersion in my view. Excellent. Right, I think we are ready to turn on the APU. Let's get into the aircraft. Let's just minimise our set because we will need it in just a moment. So up here, let's click on the APU master switch, and if I just come off the flight controls a second, APU, we'll see a message pop up here for flap open. There it is, flap open. And that's a flap at the back of the aircraft. I don't know if that's modelled in. I'm not too sure. But it comes out here, doesn't it? There's the exhaust. Is it under here? Ah, is that it? Is that it? Maybe. I don't know. I should have checked readies before we opened it. I don't know. I can't be sure. Somewhere under there's a flap that opens up. That's just a vent. There's the exhaust. So pass. Don't know. So I'll have to do a little bit of research on that. But now that's open, we can then click start, and then we can listen to it start up. Turn the sound down a little bit there, sorry. That sounds like it started up to me. Let's go back in. Yep, we have the available light here. So now let's turn the bleed on. To bleed the air. Turn the packs off. Pack 1. Pack 2. And let's turn fuel pumps on. Okay, so let's plan our pushback. Go to pushback, pre-plan it. I think this is a brilliant feature. Really do. Love this feature. This feature obviously was in X-Plane 11. I think it was called, I think the mod was called Better Pushback. I don't have X-Plane 11, I just have the demo. As I was really umming and ahhing whether to buy the simulation software or not. But as soon as they added this, I was really pleased. I think the developers done a great job. So that's the direction we said we need to point the nose. So let's click once, and then we'll come back a little bit more. Click again, and then hit enter, and that should then put it all into place. Now we've got APU power. We no longer need the external power, so that can come off. Nothing shuts down. Nothing shuts down. Fuel truck's turned up for some reason. I think that might be because I dismissed the very first window. I did that last time as well, didn't I? I should learn. Okay, so ground power is off. We're on APU power. Aircraft's still functioning and still alive. And we now need to get rid of the tow truck. So if we go to aircraft and select power, that should get rid of the guy at the front. Yep, he's disconnected the cable, and he's very, very, very slowly driving away. So we are now no longer connected to anything. Waiting for the fuel truck to get out of the way. He's probably thinking, bloody hell, I've been here twice already. I've been here once already. I think the ground service in the sim are obviously pretty basic. I think the ground vehicles there are problems with in general. You always constantly see ground vehicles crossing or going places where you just don't want them to go. Maybe not so much here, but I do know in the busier airports, perhaps we might see it when we land into Schiphol. Oh, there you go, he's off. He's found the accelerator. So we are clear, I think, now to start the pushback. So if I go to request pushback.
Cockpit to ground. This is ground. Stand by.
Couldn't resist.
Okay, sir. The bypass pin is installed. All doors and hatches closed and all ground equipment is removed. The parking brakes are set. You may lift. Parking brake set. Lifting the aircraft.
I think that animation's really cool as well.
You're cleared for start and push. Okay, cleared for push start. Please release parking brake.
So I can't do any shortcuts on my throttle.
Please release parking brake.
Oh, alright, okay, alright. Let me go back inside. I do have it shortcut here to my throttle, but I will.
Please release parking brake. Brakes are released.
Just have a look down just so you can see the animation.
Start the engines in sequence. It will start in the sequence.
So we need to flick that to engine start, ignition start. We can see we've got pneumatic pressure, and then we need to flick on the engine 2. Engine 2 flicks on. Ooh, tell you what we haven't done. Naughty pilots. We haven't put the beacon on. Beacon.
Flight attendants, armed doors, and cross-check.
The beacon should have been switched on just before engine start. There's one on the top of the aircraft there, and I think there's one on the belly, is there? Yeah, one on the belly there. And they're obviously important to make sure the team on the ground know that the engines are just coming on.
Pushback completed. Please set your parking brake.
Okay, sorry.
Parking brake set. Parking brake set. Lowering aircraft. Ground. You may disconnect. Okay, sir. Clear to disconnect. Pin has been removed. See you at the side. Have a good flight. Holding position waiting for the visual. Thank you and goodbye.
Very good. Alright, let's see if we can now get a decent wing shot where we can hear the briefing, but also see engine 1.
Wrap the strap around your waist. Secure the buckle and pull the strap tight.
Let's start the engine.
Tubes on both sides.
There you go.
A locator light on the shoulder will turn on automatically in water, and remember, never place your vest inside the aircraft. This Airbus A320 is 8 emergency exits, 2 doors in the front, 4 window exits over the wing, then 2 doors in the back. Each door is equipped with an evacuation slide that can be detached from the aircraft and used as a ramp. All exits are clearly marked with a sign overhead. If necessary, floor level lighting will illuminate the aisle helping find the exit. Please take a moment now to locate your closest exit and remember it may be behind you. If there is a change in cabin pressure, 4 oxygen masks will drop from overhead. Firmly pull the mask towards you to start the flow of oxygen. Place the mask over your nose and mouth, pull the elastic bands around your head, and tighten using the straps on both sides. Even though the bag may not inflate, oxygen will be flowing. Be sure to put your mask on first before helping others, and we'll let you know when it's no longer needed. We'll be passing through the cabin to make sure we are ready for departure. You can help us by making sure your seatbelt is fastened. Your seat back is upright, your tray table is stowed, and all carrying items are put away. If you have any questions about the safety features of this aircraft, please don't hesitate to ask. Smoking, including these electronic cigarettes, is never allowed on any flight. Tampering with, disabling, or destroying smoke detectors and aircraft restrooms is a federal offense and could result in a fine. For your convenience, this aircraft has 3 restrooms, one in the front of the cabin and 2 in the back, and each is equipped with an instant changing table. We'll be adjusting the main cabin lights for departure. If you need, there is a reading light above your seat. We're here to make sure you have a safe and comfortable flight. Thank you for your attention, and we hope you enjoyed this experience.
There we go, safety briefing done. Engine 1 looks good. We will just double check it. Yep, both engines available at 19.5 N1. Very good. So, let's turn the ignition back to normal. We now need to arm the spoilers, and we need to set flaps. Let me see if we can get a good camera shot of the flaps. I quite like that one personally. Let's see if it does it from in here. Yep. Flaps 1. I have that a short key on my joystick for that. And then we'll do pitch trim that we said we're going to do. Now everything's all turned on, and the hydraulics are all on. Everything's all green now instead of orange. So we said we needed to go up. Here it is here. Up 0.8. So again, I've got a little bit of a. I can do this 2 ways. I've got a shortcut on my joystick, one of the side buttons, where I can keep clicking it, and you should see as I click it, the trim wheel's moving, or I can just move the wheel by holding my mouse button. So we want to go up 0.8. There we go. So that is done. So let's do a flight control check next. So hand on the side stick. We're going to do right aileron, left aileron, elevation up, down, and then for the rudder pedals, I just get my feet on my pedals. Right rudder, back to centre, left rudder. We'll do those checks again, but I'll do them from the outside of the aircraft. Let's see if you can see. So we'll do right aileron. No, let's do it in drone mode, will it? Does it let you animate the rudder pedals? No, nothing's moving in drone mode. Perhaps I need to be in external view. Should we try that? Yeah, there we go. So, right rudder, left rudder, right aileron, I see it moving on the right hand side. Left aileron, I see that. Let's see if I can get the elevation up and then down. Flight controls checked and okay. So I'm happy with flight controls. Let's come out of here. We need to go to, is it status for the overall? Yeah, normal. Auto brakes, so these blue, we need to basically get rid of these blue messages here. So it's saying auto brakes, they need to be set to maximum. Auto brake is here, so click max, got a little on sign there, and the blue sign disappears. Cabin check is just a call. These are the cabin calls. Let's just let the know that the aircraft's about to taxi, or I think you can also do that to make sure. Well, I think it's any time before takeoff, but I'd have to look at some checklists to be 100% sure. And the aircraft is to configuration, which is a test down here. To config. Let's try that again. That should have disappeared then. To config. There we go. There we go. So normal. Now on the right hand side it says you've still got your park brake on, and we've still got our APU bleed on. So now 2 engines are fired up. We can come off the APU. So I can turn the bleed off, and I can turn the master switch off. This will still stay available for a little bit as the APU winds down. We're going to taxi, so taxi lights come on. We'll do the landing lights as soon as you hold short, and the strobe as soon as we hold short. I believe the strobe should be done on the runway. So let's do a quick pass from our knowledge and memory to make sure everything looks good on the overhead. Left hand side, no white extinguished lights, looks good. Centre looks good. All this looks good. All that looks good. We do have 2 whites left, but they're the packs, and we'll turn those on as soon as we get airborne. So the rest of the upper panel looks good. Lights are where I want them to be. Right hand side. All looks good. Okay, I think it's time to go. Right then, let us start taxiing then. So we're going to take this and we're going to go right. Let me get the chart back up. So we're currently on Echo, and we're going to exit onto Alpha and then take a right. So let's do parking brake off, and then let's put a little bit of power in. I have also noticed I haven't set the air pressure, and we will do that. I'll do that just before we take off. So I'm happy that the flight plan's also got the constraints, because can you see here it's got a magenta colour for our altitude. That means it will hold us at that altitude, at that constraint. Same for the speed as well. So I am steering the tiller, or the nose wheel, with my rudder pedals, and I'm just following this line. And then we're going to do a little bit of a left, where it bears left here, as I remember it from our little drone flyby. And I've also got the ground chart open next to me on my second screen, so I'll show that here. So that's what I'm following on my second screen. You should be able to see the little magenta coloured, like the pinkish coloured arrow, which represents us on the map. And there we go. Let's just centre that up a little bit. And that looks good to me. No, that's what I want. Cockpits. God, I can never remember these shortcuts for all the views. So let's have a look at what the air pressure should be. Air pressure, we said here 1022. Try and watch where I'm going as well. So let's set the air pressure here at 1022. Just get rid of that screen. There we go, sorry. Put a little bit of toe brakes on. And I'm going to put a little bit more toe brakes on as we turn. A little bit more to the left. And left toe brake just to help the turn. And full toe brake, so we'll hold short. Parking brake on. And a little click. So we are going to do strobes on. Landing lights can come out the bottom of the plane. And I'll show you where they are. They are right there. Whoops, a daisy. These things here. So that's what's just dropped out of the plane, and as you can see, they're on. So we're held short. At this point, we report to tower. I'm not going to do any of that though. And I'm going to turn on, assuming we've got our clearance. Parking brake off. I'm going to put the throttles up a little bit just to get a bit of power behind us, to get us moving. A little bit quick. Let's start that turn. Let's see if I can try and nail the line up. Don't look too bad to me. I'm happy with that. Yeah, let's do a little bit of a rowing takeoff then, so I'm going to keep my feet on the pedals. I'm going to set the chrono, as I forget to do that every single time. And then we're going to take the engines to 25%. They're spooling up. Well, say 25%, sorry, 37%. They're holding stable. We're going to go for flex. Left hand on the side stick now. Watching speed, 80 knots. 100 knots. V1, rotates. Positive rate of climb, gear up. Let's turn on autopilot, and it's now asking for lever climb. Lever climb enabled. Spoilers can be disarmed now. They can come down. And we are climbing at 10 degrees. Sucker for a screenshot. So we now need time to put the flaps up as before the marker hits the red bars. I think that did that on its own, didn't it? Caution light, that's packs. I keep forgetting that. Packs, they can go back on. Here it is. Flaps have gone back up. Didn't know that. Did not know that. So 250 max. That's where we are because we're under 10,000. We are climbing to flight level 6,000, which, if you remember, in the we'll just turn the sounds down a little bit. Turn the aircraft sounds down a bit. There we go. I was blasting my eardrums out, let alone yours. Yeah, so the constraint I remember seeing in the flight plan was above 4,500, but no higher than 6. So above 4,500. So the aircraft should start leveling out now, which it is. 6,000 is the transition level, so we can now go on to standard air pressure. So as you can see, as I flick that onto standard, it has obviously jumped around. It's like sort of like realigning itself. Whether that's through like gyroscope or whatnot, I'm not too sure, but yeah. And then the aircraft should slowly start to climb back up to 6,000. There you go. That little bar indicates pointing up is climbing, pointing down is descending. But we have got quite a big left turn here. So as you can hear, the engines have backed off to 50%. And that's also because we don't need to go any higher. I will set, it was 1022, wasn't it, as we departed, and put that to standard as well as the backup artificial horizon. And we're on the way to Schiphol. That previous track is an absolute stonker. What a banger. Really, really cool track. So that's why I thought I'd shut up and let it play. And yeah, worked quite well actually. So I just pulled up the second screen just so you can sort of see where we are on our departure. We're about to do a left turn here, and if we go into the flight plan, we should also into the cockpit. We should also see that on there. Oh, so there's it. Come on, please. There we go. There we go. There's our. There's that turn. I think this little dot here. Oh no, here we go. So we've gone up to now, or the aircraft's asking, or the FMS, the data we plugged in there is asking us now to go to our cruising altitude of flight level 350. And that is climbing at 2,700 feet per minute, 3,000, 31, 32, so forth, so on. Let's just look for flight level 100 so we can turn off the landing lights. There we go. Flight level 100. So those can come off. Tax lights can also come off. Beacons remain on. Strobes on auto. Seatbelt signs. I don't know what the correct altitude to take those off are. I've seen people doing it at 15,000, 16,000, 20,000. We'll select 25,000 because I like to keep people in their seats for a little bit longer. Have them all anxiously looking at the seatbelt sign. And you'll see on the eCamp, seatbelt signs are still on. So we're just coming out of our departure and set on our way to Schiphol. When we get a little bit closer to our top of descent, I'll start plugging in all of the weather data for the approach and show you how I do that. Not a fan of this track. Let's see what's next. There we go. Those engines are giving it the beans. As we carry on our climb to cruise. distance is Carlisle. I think Carlisle is somewhere here. Around about here. And we're about to be flying over Newcastle upon Tyne in around 10 minutes or so. Probably a little bit less. A lot less. There's the coastline. Right, so let's turn the seatbelt signs off. So Newcastle upon Tyne is literally below us. There it is. Oh yeah, you know what that is, don't you? That's a screenshot, that is. I think we'll also be above the weather as well. I suppose the winds, I wonder if we can get a weather report. Come on, let me in. Can I do that here? I go to McDo. Up to AOC, weather request. No, it's just going to be for the airport, isn't it, that there? I wonder if we can get it for the, en route. Send. Let's see what that does. It is not available. I'm pretty sure you can also get it live from a website, or can this tell us? I think live weather meter. No, perhaps it needs to be on the ground to read the meter, maybe. Oh no, here it is. Sorry. There you go. So it's just asking you to select the airfield or airport. Okay, no. That's another bit of my homework. Find out how we can get the weather. Performance. And we're in the climb mode now. Nearly at our cruising altitude of 35,000. But reading Valanta will be only holding cruise for 11 minutes. And I'm reading that here. 11 minutes until descent. We've got a little hockey stick to say we should be at 35,000 by that point there, but a little bit sooner. Captain should also announce that we're at cruise, so I'll turn the music down for his announcement. I'll turn the sounds up.
gentlemen, once again from the flight deck, your captain speaking. We've just reached our cruising altitude for the flight. As it begins to settle in, I do want to remind you to please keep your feet and elbows clear from the aisle, as the flight attendants will be coming through the cabin with galley carts shortly. Also, one more reminder to please refrain from congregating to the front galley where the flight deck door is located. Thank you.
There we go. Be mindful of those galleys. I'm bringing the aircraft sounds down a little bit more now. Out the window now, I think that's looking at the map, Scarborough. That's the coast of Scarborough. So I did say we'd also do a bit of a manual calculation, didn't I, for when we need to start our descent. So we go to the calculator here, current altitude, let's sync that, 35,000, that's correct. We need to be at, let me get the chart up, Yeah, we said we need to be at 2,000 by Tidvo. So let's put in there. Turn the music down, sorry. 2,000. And we want to come down at a nice steady 1,200 feet per minute. So the aircraft needs 191 nautical miles to get from 35,000 to 2,000 at 1,200 feet per minute. So let's go and let me just I bet you guys couldn't see most of that, sorry. That's me as a bad streamer. There we go. So we need 191 nautical miles. Current altitude 35,000. It needs 191 nautical miles to get to 2,000 at 1,200. A rate of 1,200 feet per minute. God, that was painful, wasn't it? Sorry. Let me move over. Let's go into... Let's bring the map up again. So we need to go into flight plan. Let's put a fixed radius info in there. So we said Tidvo, or that's what the map says, yeah? Let's try this. I think it'll work, but we'll try it. So if we say at Tidvo, we want 191 nautical mile radius in the flight plan. So that's registered. So we go back to our flight plan. I am hoping... Oops. Let's do it this way. Let's zoom out. There it is. So that's saying actually our top of descent that we've calculated is literally in a moment. It is in, oops, what's that, 40 mile ring, 20 mile? Yeah, in 20 nautical miles we need to start the descent. However, to do a managed descent, it's saying here. So to do a managed descent, what's that, 120? Can I get it on. No, I can't. So what's that, about 100 nautical miles, something like that. That when we reach just before Rokan, that's when we need to do the managed descent. So this is where we make a decision now. So I'm okay to not engage our calculation. I'm okay to do a managed descent when the flight plan tells us, as I can always adjust the rate of descent. So that's at 12. If I set that to 1500 feet per minute, this radius, obviously the aircraft will need a lot less distance, so instead of 191 it will be less than that. So that radius would intersect the flight plan at a different, the flight line at a different intersection point. So I'm okay. I'm going to wait until here and I'm going to click a manage descent, but I'll set it now. So we said 2000 is the target here, and to activate that, I think you might just be able to see it. Let's see if I can zoom in a bit more without breaking something. No, not that one. Not that one. Not that one. Okay, let's try that. There we go. So, as I hover my finger over the control, if I hit it in the centre, I get like a little radial arrow to go up and down. And then if I move it up, you can see it's got a little up arrow. That's to push it in, I think. And the down arrow to pull it out, or vice versa, I can't quite remember. But I think we want to pull out to then activate managed descent, where our little dot will appear here, just like this little dot here will be to the right of this, and pull it out, and then that should then control, oops, our descent. The aircraft should do it all for us. You can see on the FO side we've already passed our point that we said, so we'll hang fire and we'll wait. If not, and it doesn't work and we nosedive down to the ground, then I'll make the correction. I just realised that I haven't click the screen off, bad streamer, so let me try that again and pretend that never happened. Here's my mouse, you can see radial, that's to adjust up and down, to rotate the dial, the control, and you got a little up arrow, that's to push it in, down arrow, pull it out. My apologies. I will get used to this video making stuff at one point. A lot to remember. We can also change from thousands to hundreds, so you can start moving in hundreds by just clicking this in here. So every little indent to the control is 1,000 feet, and then click that over there and it'll be 100 feet. There we go. Apologies if I butchered that, but I'm going with my best shot. So we've got 80, just under 80 nautical miles before we need to start descending. So if I pull up, I'll try and do it without blocking too much of the screen. If I pull it up, you'll see here, this is us now. Oh, we just pitched along a little bit here just now. Looking at the right window on the right wing, and obviously we've got all these clouds. Must remember to let you guys see. There you go, there's all the clouds. Bearing in mind we are at 35,000 feet as well. Let's keep an eye on that descent there. Thought I'd change the beats up a little bit. I think we've heard that album about twice now. Zoom in a bit. Just under 40 nautical miles to go. Flick it to 40, and there's the ring. There it is. Okay, we're not far away now from coming down and starting our descent. Less than 10 nautical miles. Approaching fast. Okay, we'll do it just before to give the time aircraft to adjust, so let's pull out. It's not pull out, it's push in. There we go, so pushed it in and I've got the little dot to indicate to me now that's now managed descent. So let's review what the aircraft has done as a result of our input. So we can see the altitude coming down now. We can see that we're coming down at a rate of 2,500 feet per minute.
Now would be a good time to wrap up any business you need to take care of as we prepare for approach. If you are up, once you return to your seat, we ask that you remain seated until the aircraft arrives safely at the gate. Flight attendants, please prepare the cabin for right.
We have a message from the captain, just to let the passengers know that we started our descent. So a rate of 2,600 feet per minute now, and just increasing slightly. I can see that the plan's got us locked in, as it's a magenta colour, to say that the aircraft will stop at flight level 070, so 7,000 feet. And we've also got our, I think that's range, maybe like upper limit, lower limit for speed. If I take an educational guess, but I'm not quite too sure. I still need to really try and understand a little bit more. So we are coming down quite quickly now. I do want to try and do a little bit more research about the information on here, like this little dot here. I'm not 100% sure what that is, so if you are watching the video and you do know, feel free to let me know. And help educate me. So still at 290 knots. Engines are idle. No, sorry, no, they're not quite idle. Normally if they're idle, you get an idle message here, I think, on the upper ECAM. But aircraft's descending as intended. So we now need to input our destination data. So let me pull out this window where I can get my weather. Enter destination data. Okay. Come on, brain. Performance. Next phase. QNH for destination is 1023. Temperature 13 degrees. Wind magnitude and direction is 150 degrees. Oh, we're turning. A little bit difficult to type then as the it was turning. 150 degrees and the power is 3 knots, so 150 over 3, that goes into there. Baro minimums on the chart for ILS approach. 188. There we go. So the aircraft should call out minimums at 188. I do need to get my head a little bit more around the types of category landings, Cat 1, Cat 2, Cat 3, so forth, so on. Cat 3A, Cat 3B. And the just to understand a little bit more about the chart, really. But I'll try and teach yourselves as we go through the journey. Or if you know, feel free to let me know in the comments. We're coming through some weather now, all the clouds. See how far we are away from the airport. 105 miles out. I will pull out the checklist just a moment, just to have a look at the descent. Let's take off. Oops, that was it then. Yeah, here we go. So this is all pretty much standard stuff that I understand. At 10,000 feet, landing lights on, terrain on, but it's inoperable on this model for the fly-by-wire version. Passenger signs on, anti-ice as required, and landing system button as required on, which is this button here. Altimeter, or the set the air pressure at the transition altitude. Which, let's have a look at what our transition altitude is. Let me pull that up, and that would be on the approach right here. It says here transition level by ATC, so I don't know what it is. Whatever's setting the flight plan through the star, I suppose. Is it on this one? There we go. Transition altitude 3000. Transition level by ATC. Was that transition level by ATC on this one as well? Yeah, it was. Sorry, so I've got the two mixed up, haven't I? So transition level, transition altitude is 3000. Which is all good. Right then, so let me carry on going through the checklist. I will turn seatbelt signs on. So, ILS approach, which is what we're doing. Auto land or manual final. So we're going to do a manual final. I'm not going to be doing an auto land because I do want to improve my landing ability. Approach at 3,000 foot above destination airport elevation, or use proper procedure altitudes. This is a key information that I need to memorise a little bit better. So at less than 25 nautical miles to go, LS button on, selector as required, ground spoilers armed, auto brakes set with 25 miles to go, altimeter check local, which we've just checked and it's 3000. Sorry, the weather, what was it, 1023, so we'll set that locally. Minimums checked, we've set that. Ecam status, TCAS, cabin crew, nose lights on, and runway takeoff lights on. I'm probably doing an absolute awful job of sort of trying to guide through this checklist, but this is how I know it, and this is what I'm trying to use and learn. Everyone's got to start somewhere, haven't they, I suppose. So less than 20 nautical miles to go. We activate the MCDU approach mode if it hasn't already been activated. Speed green dot. That was the green dot we were just referring to here. So I want to understand its purpose a little bit better. Might as well leave it over there. Then we've got at final location interception course activate approach mode. I might activate approach mode just to get the initial descent started on the glide slope, and then I'll take over. And for auto land, activate both, or activate the second AP button as well as AP1, but we're not going to do that. And then with 15 nautical miles to go, flaps 1, and that will then set the auto throttle speed to 160. It just said they're optional though. Glide slope capture, flaps 2. Right, okay, so as soon as the glide slope's got us, then we go to flap 2. Got you. Then landing gear, then flaps 3, then flaps 4, and then set missed approach altitude. I'm not going to go into that much detail yet. I want to do a bit more research on missed approaches. I'm still not clear myself. I also want to practice some as well, to be fair. So we'll see what that. We'll have a look at that. So our rated descent has slowed down to 600. So it's increasing now, just as I snap onto it. So we are approaching 10,000, where I will turn the landing lights on, and then we should be slowing down to 250 knots, which we are. Lovely turn. .58. And we need to start doing stuff at 25. Oh, bad pilots. Landing lights. Anti-ice isn't required. And it does say their landing system on, so we'll turn that on. Don't forget transition level was what, 3000? Oh sorry, transition altitude was 3000. We have to set that to 1023. $50 nautical miles to go. That's a nice shot. do like me a good screenshot. You should know me by now. It's another good screenshot. Okay, so we can see the runway now on the plan. Let's have a look outside. There it is. There's Schiphol. There's that runway that you spent 3 years taxiing to. Normally when you go to Schiphol. It's the longest taxi in the world, I think. Cool, so I think this is the runway we're going to come in on, isn't it? We're going to come in on this runway here. Another good screenshot, can't help myself. Uh, 29, so we're nearly at the point where we've got to start doing stuff. And we'll follow the checklist. Let me get it back up, because I did get rid of it for my screenshots. Gotta think of that thumbnail, man. There's me list at 25, 27. So we can start doing stuff now, to be fair. So let me just turn the music down a wee bit. So landing system button is check it's on. It's on, I confirm. Engine mode selector as required. Well, we'll just leave it in normal. So confirmed. Ground spoilers arm. So I've got a little shortcut to do that. That's just popped up that lever. That's armed, checked. Auto brakes. I haven't calculated the stopping distance for landing, but it is a ginormous runway, and I'm going to go low. I'm going to wing it. We then need to set altimeter. We're not at 3,000 yet for the transition altitude, but I'll set it, and it was 1023, and I'll go back to standard. Minimums, we know that's checked. ECAM status. So if we look, we have got no warnings, no blue labels, so that looks all good to me. Landing lights are on, ground spoilers on, seatbelt on. That's all good to me. TCAS, I'm not using ATC or anything like that, so I'm just going to ignore that one. Cabin crew, let's just advise them. So we'll do a little bit of a ring-a-ding-ding of the bell. Let's turn that sound down. That's just to let them know we're 25 nautical miles to go. Then we need to go to nose lights. Turn those, what did it say? Nose lights to taxi. So let's put that to taxi. And runway turn off lights go to on. On. I do like me a good checklist. It is very satisfying. We've got 20 to go. So with 20 nautical miles to go, activate the MCDU approach mode if it's not all yet ready done. So let's go to performance. It's already activated. There's normally like a little bit of a button here to say activated and confirm, but it's already activated because that brings this page on, I believe. Let me just check. Yeah, because that's our go around procedure. So I'm happy that that's activated. Then we've got to activate approach mode. So I will do that to catch the glide slopes. Next milestone, 15 nautical miles to go, flaps 1. So I'm happy that I think I know what's going on now. They're at, it's asking us to change our air pressure. So we're going to come down. We are a little bit slow. It's not screaming at me for flaps yet. So I need to see, we're at 15 nautical miles, so it said flaps 1, yeah? Flaps 1. A little bit of overspeed, that's okay. I'm going to get my feet on the rudder pedals, just in case. Oh, our checklist is gone. Come on, cycle through faster, please. Oh, that was it then. So, auto throttle speed mode back to managed, optional, lower landing gear. Yeah. Go. I'm okay with that. So we're gonna go another notch of flaps. I haven't done the backup. Turn that off to standard and do that to 23. Don't think it's needed, but I still like to do it. And we could come down another notch of flaps. Now we're below that speed, so let's come back. Yeah, that's 4 flaps now, that is. Yep, 4 flaps. I can see on the right hand side and on the upper E cam it says 4 flaps, and thrust levers are idle. I think we're looking in really good shape. So I'm going to, that's our final turn. So I'm going to put the landing gear down. Landing gear's down. Right, let's see if we can do this. So we need to approach mode with a bit too. We are quite low. Glide slope hasn't caught us yet. AP1's kicked off, that's why. I was wondering what on earth's going here. So something I've pressed has kicked off autopilot. Good job I picked it up last minute. Oof. That could have ended in disaster. I was thinking, what's going on? Why are we descending? The glide slope hasn't got us yet. So once we land, we are going to exit left of the runway. Let's do another little check. Just let the cabin crew know they need to take the seats. So we are holding 1,100. I'm going to come back a little bit and up a little bit. Yeah, I'm good with that. As soon as the glide slope gets us, I'm gonna start taking over them. So I use that to help me. Even though I am doing it manually, I do look at that. We said the Pappy was on the left hand side of the runway, I believe. Which are the light indicators to help me land. It gives me a good indication of height and approach. There we go, it's got us. So aircraft started to descend. So I reckon it's my time to fly now. So I'm gonna
1,000.
knock the AP1 off. Autopilot disengaged my aircraft. So I now have full control over the flight controls. But the aircraft is still managing my speed for me. My right hand's on my throttle, my left hand is on a side stick. Pull up a little bit.
500.
Make sure we don't cut the tops of these trees. A little bit of rudder input then.
300. 100 above. 200.
Too high.
Minimum.
Continue.
100.
Red over white. I'm alright.
50. 40. 30. 20. Retard.
Throttle off. Flare up.
5.
Come on, get it down. Oh, reverse on. Ooh. We're down. I thought that was going to be a hard landing then. I'm also going to help the braking. Reverse is off. I think I'm going to be too fast for that turn off. So we'll catch the next one. Welcome to Schiphol. There we go. That's a little better. So if we come up here, the landing lights can come off. And let's get the flap open and start the APU. And we'll continue down and take a left, I think. Just here. Now I imagine we've still got our spoilers flared. Which we have. They can come down. Let's just see where I'm going. I'll take one of those over there. We'll have a look at the landing performance as soon as I've parked up. Let's just do like a little bit of a gradual turn. Let's put the flaps up. There we go. Oh, go off the runway a little bit. Off the taxiway a little bit. Let's keep turning right, and we'll go for one of those down there. One of those gates down there. Straight in front. Very good, very nice. APU says available. Turn the bleed on. Don't you dare. Oh, I thought she was going to crash then. I thought I was going to have a CTD. Right, let's give that left rudder to turn. Probably the brake, my pedals, the brake is, its tension is very, very light, and obviously the rudders is a little bit more. So if we see we can get the pocket right on the line. Let's slow down a little bit. I reckon about, keep going a bit more. I reckon about there. Put the parking brake on and let's have a look. I got it totally wrong, didn't I? Okay. Let's get back in. Parking brake off. Put a bit of power. Ah, parking brake was already off. Strange. Better. Ah, that's why I'm in the wrong. I'm not in drone mode, am I? There we go. Finally. Now parking brake can go on in this mode. So that if I click end, there we go. That should put us in. Very good, very good. So we can do taxi lights off now. Stroke can come off. Beacon can come off, and we're going to go and shut down engine 1 and shut down engine 2. We're going to disarm spoilers. Continue. Thank you very much. Okay. So we can stop squawking. We'll do a full shutdown now, to the best of my knowledge. I can go to standby. Predicted wind shear can come off. We are still running on APU. So let's get all the ground services going, get fuel, jetways so the passenger can get off. Power, catering, baggage. Let's leave all that to do its business. Still leave the seatbelts on to play a game with the passengers. Ground services are there. Do I need to reselect it again for them to... Yeah, I do. But jetway's connected though, yeah. So baggage, catering. There we go. So I need to select it to render them in, and then again to activate them. So let us now. What do I want to do? Take the ground power on. APU blink can come off. Turn the packs off. APU master switch can come off. Fuel pumps can come off. And seatbelt signs. Now you can get out of the aircraft. So on here we go to the McDo, ATSU, AOC, weight and balance, and if we highlight the amount of passengers and then click start, they should start emptying out the aircraft. And welcome to Amsterdam. This monster of an airport. Again, no freeware or payware, just purely basic scenery that's loaded in with the base model or the base package of Microsoft Flight Simulator. That doesn't look like the airport from what I remember it. Could be a close representation maybe, but I don't remember it like this. I seem to remember it on a much larger scale, more gates. But yeah, I'll try and get... I like coming into Schiphol, so maybe I'll try and look for some payware. Because I think it is a good airport to have. Okay, so the passengers are offloading. We can still continue to shut the aircraft down. If we go to the upper panel, pumps are off, we can turn IR 3, 2, 1. Beacon, oh, that was off, and strobe was off. Taxi runway lights turn off can come off. The nose wheels off. No smoking can come off now. We can disarm the emergency lights. And I suppose we'll give the crew a little bit more oxygen supply home. because we're just that kind. We'll let these off board, and then we'll have a look at the landing weight. Sorry, the landing performance, not the landing weight. Oh, I haven't seen that before. In the, they must have released that. This is the experimental version, by the way. A fly-by-wire gravity gear extension, pull and turn. I could have done with that. The won a flight a few weeks ago when I did encounter an issue with the landing gear. I do want to get a little bit more au fait and familiar with the aircraft control systems, how it works, how it functions, before I start simulating faults, because I really do need to scrub up on some more checklists. Is this where we stand outside and I go, okay, thank you, bye-bye, cheers, thank you, bye-bye, have a good flight, thank you, safe journey, thank you, cheers, bye-bye, any thanks. Okay, that's all done. Yeah, we're all back to square one, and all we've got left to do now is to turn off ground power and turn the batteries off. There we go. And aircraft is off. Let's turn the fly pad off, and that's how we left it. How we entered it, even. Sorry. So we still let these guys do their thing. So, more importantly, I want to see what the landing performance was. So let us have a goosey gander. So review the flight. Lovely little departure that is out of Edinburgh. I really enjoyed that. I thought that was really cool. And we flew over Newcastle upon Tyne. Then I think we captured a little bit of the coast around Sunderland. Then we crossed through. We did go through those clouds there, didn't we? And then a really nice approach. Again, I really enjoyed that approach. Very smooth. Aircraft obviously did a lot of the work for us. To be fair, I can't really hide away from that fact, can I? But nevertheless, we followed the procedure. We followed the standard, and we came around. Now, what do you reckon? I reckon it was a bit heavy, and if I'm being brutally honest, I whiffed it a little bit. So I was too high, and then when I came down, I flared too early. But I believe that I made the correction in time. But one would assume that in real life, if you flare too early, there is a high risk that you start to gain altitude again, and then you need to do a go round. But as I don't know how to do a go round, I haven't really learnt that bit yet. I reckon it was minus, I'm going to say minus 220. Oh, okay. Minus 112, not too bad. That's better than, I'll take that. I'll take that all day long. I was expecting a lot harder. It felt like I hit the deck a little bit harder. I like that. I really, yeah, I'll take that all day long. Then we came off. We've exited one exit after we said we would when we set the flight up. I think we sort of said we'd come off initially here. I think this was called November 3, was it? Let's get the chart up. Yeah, November 3. So we came off November 4, but I did predict at the start of the flight that we'd try and aim to come off at November 3. That's okay. I did set the auto brakes to low. Had I set them to high, I imagine we would have been able to look at exiting at November 3. But nevertheless, it's not too bad. It's a monster runway though, isn't it? So plenty of room. So yeah, I'll take that all day long. I will. We some of the flights that we've done previously, I've been around. They've been really good, to be fair. My landing rates have. If you sort of go back through some of my other videos, if you want to just sort of skip to the end and have a look at the landing rates, you can do. But yeah, I'm really happy with that. Right, I am going to call it there. If you've watched the video, I'm super happy and super pleased of the support, and thanks for clicking. Thanks ever so much, really appreciate it. I do stream over on Twitch, which is where I'm currently streaming now, but this video I'll upload to YouTube. So if you are watching it on YouTube, be sure to head over to my Twitch channel. Links in my page of my YouTube page. I stream on Friday evenings and Saturday evenings, GMT, anywhere between, I'll start the stream anywhere between 8 and half 9 on a Friday and Saturday evening. At the moment, I'm just giving it to 2 days a week for streaming, just to see how we settle into it. So if you are watching this video on YouTube, I'd very much appreciate you zipping across to Twitch and dropping us a follow on there to help grow the stream. So yeah, no, I really enjoyed that. It was pretty cool. I think it'll be, we can only grow, can't we? We can only learn and we can only get better. Everyone learns, and that is what it is all about, really, in my view. So yeah, many thanks again. I really appreciate it, and I'll catch you when I see you, and I'll catch you the next time. Thanks so much, guys. See you in a bit. Bye.